Welcome to Harbor Highlights. Welcome back from break.
On today's show, we have an interview about WOSO.
We also have highlights from the 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. This and more, so stay tuned.
Good day. My name is Amy.
And I'm Kylie.
A few weekends ago, the 8th graders that signed up to go on the Washington, D.C. trip had 3 fun-packed days of learning about our nation's history.
Here are a few trivia questions for you. See if you know the answers.
What state is Washington, D.C. in? Teachers, can you call on your student?
Did you know it? Well, this is a trick question. Washington, D.C. is not in a state.
If you said Maryland or Virginia, you were close. Those are the states that gave land for our nation's capital.
Washington, D.C. is a district. This was established by the Founding Fathers to prevent any one state to have more political influence.
It's kind of a sore spot for the people of Washington, D.C. because they have taxation without representation. It wasn't until 1961 that the residents of Washington, D.C. gained the rights to vote in presidential election.
One more trivia question. How many locations have served as our nation's capital? Teachers, can you call on a student?
What did you say? Well, the correct answer is 9. Look at the slides on the screen to see the different locations.
The group learned so much on the trip and was able to see our nation's history come alive and really appreciate the people who have helped to build our country by experiencing a variety of memorials.
Hi, I'm Sheldon. Today we are here with Ms. Bishop and Mr. Hardy to interview them about the Washington, D.C. trip. When is the trip and how much does it cost?
The trip in 2020 is going to be on March 20th to the 22nd. We leave Friday morning and we come back late Sunday night.
Okay, so the trip is pretty expensive, but there are a lot of opportunities for you to cut down on those costs. The first is by registering early. Registering in April and May will help cut down the costs. There's also scholarships available, and there will be fundraising available. And you'll hear more about those fundraisers during the parent meeting that we have. But my son did a lot of fundraising, and really he raised over half of the cost of the trip. And there's a lot of kids that worked a lot harder than my son and were able to raise much more of the cost of the trip. So if you start early fundraising and register early, it really helps cut down on the cost. So,
What should you do if you're interested in going on the trip?
First of all, you need to have a parent go to an informational meeting. And the informational meeting this year for next year's trip is April 9th at Mac Bay. That's going to be at 6:30. I believe that's a Tuesday. And then April 17th at Harbor Lights, 6:30, same time, and that's a Wednesday. There's also, you can pick up informational packets from your social studies teachers.
What are some of the things you get to see on the trip and what part was your favorite?
Of course, we get to see the White House. We take usually a group picture right in front of the White House every year. There's lots of museums we see. National Archives, the National Cathedral Tour, the World War II Memorial Fountains, the Vietnam Memorial Wall, the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. There's so much more. It's a lot of walking, but it's lots of great exercise coming from your health teacher, just saying. But lots of time, experience amazing national things.
So I know both Ms. Bishop and I really enjoyed the National Cathedral. We take a tour of that, and I was blown away. I wasn't expecting to fall in love with that place, but it is amazing. Another one that I really liked was the Korean War Memorial. That was really cool to see at night. And then, of course, from a science teacher, the Smithsonian. There's several Smithsonian museums, but the one that we went to was an amazing one as well. They have the Air and Space Museum. So no matter what you like, there's going to be a museum for you or some sort of monument.
Are there any extra costs with going on the trip?
Well, my daughter, when she went, she took about $25 that covered a quick snack and a sweatshirt. Okay. But let me tell you, and I know he'll agree with me on this one. The food, you get food for free. Your lunch, your breakfast, your dinners, all included with your cost, and it's amazing. Every day, it's something different.
Yep.
And we
and
look
tons of options too.
tons of options. Some of it's buffet style. Sometimes it's fancy sit down. It actually makes you feel cool and important, which I love.
Yeah, I would say same thing. My son brought $25, $30, bought a couple souvenirs and some snacks, and that was it. So the cost of the trip includes virtually everything.
Thank you, Mr. Hardy and Ms. Bishop, for letting us interview you. Now back to the anchors.
The best part of the trip is that you have guides with you the whole time who share the story of our country.
If this is a trip you might be interested in, there will be an informational meeting April 17th. Now over to this week's general announcements.
Hi, my name is Juan.
And I'm Armani.
The lunch special are Monday, BBQ, Tuesday chicken bacon with good fries, and Wednesday corn dog.
Thursday, chicken and cheese quesadilla, and Friday, grilled cheese sandwich and soup.
Knitting club meets today after school. Calling all the colors meets on Tuesday.
Tomorrow, 8th graders will be taking the PSAT test, and Thursday, they will be taking the M-STEP. No students are allowed in the 8th grade hall during testing, and 7th graders will be running the 8th grade schedule Tuesday and Thursday.
A student council would like to thank you for helping support the America Association.
Congratulations to our Harbor Lights WOSO team for qualifying for the state meet by placing well enough at the regional competition at Grand Valley. They will be finishing up the season at the state meet on April 27th at Michigan State. Here's an interview with one of the WOSO students about what he likes about this club.
Hello, welcome. We're with Aiden, and we're going to interview him about WOSO. About what is WOSO?
Well, it is a science Olympiad where you compete to try to get first place, and you can just learn. There's a lot of things about science and how what you can do with science.
How do students prepare for WOSO?
Well, we have these competitions every couple weeks, and you practice with your coaches about different events, and they have a listed posted for the events and when they are.
What events are there in WOSO?
There is different events, there's build events, there's study events, and then there's lab events. The ones I'm doing is thermodynamics, which is a lab event. I'm doing herpetology, which is about snakes, and that's a study event. And then there's many more, where you can build roller coasters, build a battery buggy, and then there's a lot more.
How are the competitions scored? And so far, how have you done?
Well, the competitions are scored by what you did on the test, and if it's a build event, you don't really have a test. You just do you have to do a certain time limit or something. But so far, I've got first place in Dynamic Planet, and that's really it so far.
Why shouldn't students join next year?
Students should join this because it's really fun, and you can collaborate with other people and make new friends, and you really get to learn about science, and especially if you're good at it, you could see how you do competing versus other people or kids.
Harbor Lights receiving medals in 5 events, including a first place in Game On, which is coding event won by Matthew Derby and Ben C.
Good luck at state, and students think about joining WOSO for next year. Now let's send it over to find out about this week's sports report.
Hi, I'm Jacob.
And I'm Jake. There are only a few games this week.
Girls soccer teams play Tuesday against Byron Center and Thursday against Granville. Both are at home.
On Tuesday, the black tennis team is challenging Hudsonville Baldwin at home, and the white team is away against Jenison.
On Thursday, the black tennis team is challenging Cityside at home, and the white team is away against Creekside.
The track has their first meet next week.
If you would like to play a sport next year, make sure you are planning on going to the free physical night at Lakeshore Orthopedics on May 21 from 6 to 8.
Now back to the anchors.
Next week, we will have an update on ModTech. Have a great day. Remember that every day is a new day to make it happen. Bye.